Hello, this is Darryl Jr. back with another review part of the Veritas documentary, an awesome documentary that talks about the flat Earth ideology and shows some pertinent clips of flat earthers that very succinctly encapsulates what they believe and how they think. So I think it's quite interesting. A lot of the principles I noticed in flat Earth thinking and logic, they they illustrate pretty well, the Veritas folks. So I'll do another, I guess, 12 minutes of that over the next hour. Uh, a few things to look out for. I have a series, it's up to 4 parts now, my overall Flat Earth challenge and response series. And I had a discussion with a flat earther over the course of like 4 videos. He didn't want to come on, but he was like, it's fine. Just look at my, DMs and just share those and just go over the DMs live. So I did that and was able to see a lot of the thinking that's demonstrated in the Veritas video, the unscientific thinking. So I think it's worth a look if you enjoy just uh, getting a better understanding of why these people believe what they believe and their responses to evidence, their responses to both evidence and their responses to requests for them to present evidence. Pretty consistent. You present evidence, pretty much now. You ask for evidence, they just keep repeating claims and asking questions. That's pretty much it. And their sources or references are just memes mostly, or flat earth videos that just tell you what to believe. Which is interesting. So it's like the it seems like all they know is indoctrination. They can't just like do like I did and present evidence and observations. So you could look at the observations and evidence and decide whether it's accurate or not, and present uh, uh, a determination if it's not. No, you just have to just watch some hours and hours of videos of people telling you what to believe, and well, then you're a flat earther. Right? So if you fall for that, so let's look at this, picking up where we left off last week. We were looking at the part where about 38 minutes, where he was pointing out the common flat Earth uh, uh, meme response. Look at these, two, three, however many pictures of the globe. They look different, so the pictures must be fake, and the globe must be fake. Because why are they lying? And Veritas was showing how when you take pictures of a globe at different distances from the globe, you catch more or less of the globe, and the scale of things on that globe, like the sizes of the continents, look different. So we're going to pick up from there and keep it going, and it's like the trail end of that discussion, so you can catch part what 3 to get the anecdotes around that. All right, so let's keep on going. All right, we'll check the volume here. Let me make sure the volume is getting that. All right, that should fix it. Let's see.
Now, for those extra skeptical folks that might think this kind of software is doing something tricky under the covers to mislead us or something like that, you can just do this with your own eyes. Grab a globe, look at it up close, then walk 10 or 15 feet away and take another look. I took these 2 photos this afternoon outside with my iPhone, and this clearly demonstrates the point. Now, I don't want to complicate things more than necessary, but it's worth mentioning briefly that there are other aspects of some images that can have different factors that contribute to how much of the globe we can see.
I saw this guy here.
There
Who
are
was he
other
talking
aspects of
to?
some
I think he
images
was
that
talking
can
to
have
MC
different.
Toon. No, he was talking to Fight the Flat Earth. apparently
factors that
he's a
contribute to how
photographer.
much of the
This guy they have here, apparently
globe
he's
we
a
can see, that there
photographer
are
that
other
debunks
aspects
flat
of some
earthers.
images that can have different factors that contribute to how much of the globe we can see.
So if I remember right, he seemed pretty good. I took a look at a few of his videos. I noticed his video history. It's like photography, photography, photography. Started doing flat Earth, and his views went up really big. I think that was in the heyday of the flat Earth debunking thing. I think now is believe I've seen um, I've noticed that it's hard to define the video sometimes now. So uh, definitely doesn't help the flat Earth conspiracy claims that they do that. If it is some kind of algorithm thing, but well, I think that's an interesting thing to discuss briefly. So, you have the flat Earth nonsense. Of course, it's nonsense. But yet, if you have people censoring what they say, and it's okay because that's nonsense, well, what about if it's something that's not nonsense? But that the powers that be don't want it to be known, and then they're not going to be censored in the same way using the same justifications. So I have noticed that it's harder to find some videos, like videos I've watched before. I'll search for the name, and it's harder to find. And I think the intentions seem to be good. Like, okay, there's a bunch of stupid people that's falling for this nonsense, but it's not going to stop them from being stupid. They'll just imagine they'll just fall for something else. Um, so yeah, I don't think it should be censored. But I guess the solution would be to do things like we're doing now. Just let them have their say, but you know, of course, let people who know better share what they know as well. So we know there's people who were used to be flat earthers, but who are no longer flat earthers. Rachel O comes to mind. Speak truth, seek truth, speak truth. Ranty, Sean G, I believe. So it happens. I imagine that the majority of them who are no longer flat earthers just don't announce it. They probably never announced they were flat earthers, and they just quietly just disappear and they'll never say anything. So no telling how many people, of course, flat earthers are something like Scientology when it comes to their stats. The stats are always going up, right? Like they're always like getting more people, but we know that it's on a decline. Is looking at the people, I believe in here actually showed like the search results and things like that, and it was really high, like around 2016 or 2018. I'm pretty sure the debunkers coming out has something to do with the fact of it going down in popularity. So let's keep it going.
Like different style cameras with different settings and lenses, and in some cases, images of the globe are composites made up of multiple, closer, much higher detail images that are stitched together. Now, flat earthers love to point to composite images as some kind of dishonest manipulation, but the only ones being dishonest are them. There's nothing being hidden or misrepresented here. Now, despite this being absolutely trivial for anybody with a spherical object and a pair of eyes to undeniably demonstrate for themselves, for reasons we'll be diving deep into
So
later,
look
in
at
a
that
pair
for
of
a
eyes
second.
to undeniably.
So you have the blue marble from 2002, blue marble from 2012. It looks like it's simply, you just simply difference in distance uh, or capture, depending on how near or far the satellite is from the Earth. So the top one, it says 2.6 meters, 11 degrees of view, focal length 200 millimeters. The bottom one says distance of 27 centimeters, about 10 times farther, field of view 98 degrees, and focal length of 16 millimeters. And on the right, you can see how it looks. So that's sensible enough. Flat Earthers notice a different visible reading the caption at the bottom right there. Flat Earthers noticed the different visible Earth's surface in different Earth images and used it to, quote, prove their fate. In reality, it's just a perspective effect caused by the fact that the Earth was seen from a different observer distance. So, and it's the Flat Earth WS site. So let me pull that up and look at that site one day on video on stream.
undeniably demonstrate for themselves, for reasons we'll be diving deep into later. No matter how easily debunked their arguments are, the explanations are unquestioningly rejected by flat earthers, and these arguments continue to be parroted every day.
No, he's literally distorting the image to give you a false impression.
I didn't want to say that. That's why I said I'm going to have a look myself.
Yeah, it's just a distortion of the image. It's a Photoshop, right?
The problems that we've seen thus far with the flat earth worldview are only scratching the surface of what's to come. It gets worse. Much worse. Which brings us to the second fundamental flaw that all flat earthers suffer from. Which brings us to
an
this what's to
awesome
come. It gets worse.
thing here. You don't understand. List all the things they don't understand. I wish it was actually
Much
slower so we can
worse.
see them all more easily.
Which brings
I
us to
remember
the
I scrolled
second
through them in one of the
fundamental
other
flaw
reviews.
that all flat earthers suffer from. Far with the
So I scrolled through these in one of the other videos I did a bit more like pausing it as I went. He shows this. I guess maybe this is like the what section change. But yeah. Notice he mentioned spectroscopy, which is one of my favorite aspects of astronomy. As a matter of fact, one of the lab groups in my current lab class, they did a spectroscopy experiment and they discovered the hydrogen and carbon and a few other things in the sun. I don't remember the exact elements, but they were showing Professor the results, and Professor had the the official spectrum, and it's pretty cool.
flat earthers suffer from.
Let's get back to the reason that we're really here. Without much further ado, I give you the Derek Zoolander Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good.
What is this?
A center for ants? What?
How can we be expected to teach children to learn how to read if they can't even fit inside the building?
What is the sine of 90 degrees?
Yeah, if you ever spoke with flat earthers, you can see the relevance why he's showing that flat earthers just intentionally have very poor understanding of things.
Well, it's just a right angle, so I don't know what the sign is. It's just two lines at a right angle.
He's talking about a
Sine-
trigonometric function, the sine.
S-I-N-E.
Oh. What, now?
No.
Anthony, if a triangle has the sides 1, 1, and 1, do you
I've never actually seen that guy before. I'll scroll back a bit and let me know, by the way, if the volume is off in any way. I'm try to keep them pretty balanced.
It's just two.
What is the sine of 90 degrees?
Well, it's just a right angle, so I don't know what the sign is. It's just two lines at a right angle.
So he's thinking like a sign, like a positive or a negative, it sounds like an actual sign of a number.
He's talking about a trigonometric function, the sine.
S-I-N-E.
Oh. What, now?
So I think he's thinking, because 90 degrees is a right angle, it like makes an L.
No.
Anthony, if a triangle has the sides 1, 1, and 1, do you know what the angles are?
Which kind of triangle are you on about? Are you on about like a right angle triangle? Well, it would be an equilateral triangle, wouldn't it?
Right, so what are the angles?
I'm gonna pull up a triangle calculator.
Is somebody recording this? Because this is just priceless.
Well, the one I'm using it's not giving me any when I do it. So either this calculator is wrong or you're wrong.
Anthony, the fact that you can't answer these simple math questions is ridiculous.
Why can't you just apply it to right angle triangles?
Keep in mind that these are people who believe they understand science and math better than all the experts, enough to tell everybody else that they're wrong. Some even believe they're smarter than Einstein and things like this. And these people can't answer the most basic math and science questions upon which the world is based. The technology behind this camera and the computer that's playing these videos and the speakers is based on scientific principles that we understand very well, that we go over in school if you're a physicist or an engineer. So the fact that they don't understand them, while at the same time saying science is wrong, even though the world is based upon the science all about technology. I mean, it shows how divorced from reality that the flat earthers are, like how divorced from reality they are maintaining these beliefs.
Fine, 3, 4, 5. That's a right angle.
How do you know it's a right angle triangle? So
because it physically is. There's no other triangle it can be.
All right. Well, I don't know that's true, so I want to test it. How do I test it? Well, this is irrelevant. I've already stated my position.
No, it's not. Your inability to do math is totally
triangles. We don't use equilateral triangles to calculate the distances and stuff.
It applies to you not having a clue what you're talking about and being extremely confident when you talk, regardless.
So if you have a triangle,
so you said it refers to him not having a clue what he's talking about, but being extremely confident when he talks regardless, which is basically the description of the Dunning. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Sides 1, 1, and 1. What are the internal angles?
I have no idea.
I believe you.
Joe, if you have a triangle with sides measuring 1, 1, and 1, what are the internal angles?
I ain't been in geometry class since I was 14. I'm 31. Move on.
So to be clear, you get 3 observers on your hypothesized flat Earth, and then you have those 3 people create a triangle with 90 degrees between each of them.
Right, so they create an equilateral triangle. They're the observers.
With 90 degrees at each corner of the equilateral triangle. That's on the flat Earth. Okay.
So you asked for the math. I showed it to you. You asked for the zooming of the boat.
Math
I showed
wrong.
you the image.
Yeah, I showed you that the math is wrong. I told you that.
I showed you the official Pythagorean proof of curvature, which fails at 3 miles. You don't like that math. You don't accept that math. Refraction gets rid of that.
The official.
What do you want, man? 3 miles. You don't.
That the math is wrong. I told you that.
I showed you the official Pythagorean proof of curvature.
He said Pythagorean.
Which fails at 3 miles. You don't like that math. You don't accept that math. Refraction gets rid of that.
The official.
What do you want, man?
I want you, if you're going to talk about math, to do it right.
Because we're going to look at something,
This is classic, guys. This debate here between conspiracy cats and Nathan. Conspiracy cats absolutely eviscerated Nathan. I mean, it was wonderful. And I think one of the keys was I remember when I debated Wotan, and I proved him wrong, and he would just lie about making his own claim right there on the spot. And I thought, oh my, if he just going to just blatantly lie like that, I just stopped talking. I just was like, there's no point. But what Conspiracy Cast did was he kept a running commentary of the lies and the errors and so on and so forth that Nathan was engaging in. And he would just keep going on the list, repeating it. So that definitely helped me in my debate with Alan and Tobias, where I was clearly point out where they're wrong and don't know what they're talking about. Because really, the flat earthers, they're generally too stupid to know or too deluded or whatever. So I remember after that debate, even though I thought the Wotan debate, I thought even though it was pretty clear the guy was wrong and was lying, still you have flat earthers in the chat or even in a live chat saying, oh, he crushed the globe or whatever. And it's like, how can they not see it? So they really need to be it needs to be spelled out in very, very simple bite by bite language, even things that seems very obvious to the average person. whether it's an intelligent thing or just a delusion thing, whatever the case is. So yeah.
Trigonometry here. Can you just explain to me, just so I know that I don't need to explain to you, pretend it's a maths test. Let's pretend that you've got the angle that I've given you and that you've got that distance on the blue line that I've given you. And all I'm asking is, you know, forget the Earth, forget Polaris, forget anything like that. Treat it as a maths question because I want you to know the significance of what's about to happen. How would you calculate the distance to Polaris there? How is your trigonometry? Can you do it? And by the way, trigonometry is something we teach to 12-year-old children in England. I'm just pointing that out. Can you calculate that distance?
So your argument is that the north, I personally can't calculate that. I don't work in kilometers. I normally work in miles. And the distance to Polaris, I have to see your measurement. I'd have to see your measurements for the distance to Polaris. Is that what you're trying to show right now? Is triangulating the distance?
No, it wasn't. I'll carry on with my explanation. I think everyone who's watching understands the point I've just made.
If you have a triangle with sides 1, 1, and 1, what are the internal angles?
Oh no.
Oh, come on. Come on.
All right.
Maybe 90 degrees.
So,
90 degrees, maybe.
So all right. So now let's say you have 5 and you divide by 0. What's the answer?
Here, 5 hits 0.
Wrong. Here, yeah. All right. Man, you're not doing well.
You have 5 and you divide by 0. That's 0.
Nope.
No.
And what is it?
Undefined.
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 Here, I can explain it to you like this. Let's say Cookie Monster has 5 cookies. I'll scroll down here. Here's the derivation of the formula and the correct formula, right here. Formula 4. Here's
and what is it?
Undefined.
Undefined.
MC Toon is low-key vicious in his comments sometimes.
Here, I can explain it to you like this. Let's say Cookie Monster has 5 cookies. I'll scroll down here. Here's the derivation of the formula and the correct formula, right here. Formula 4 is the correct formula. You'll see here H sub H is the hidden height. The HO is the eye height of the observer. Now, when you use 8 inches per mile squared, where do you put in the eye height?
That's too many numbers and letters for me. I don't understand that. But
okay, right here. Sine of pi over 6 is equal to 1
half. 30 degrees. No. Sine 30 degrees is equal to pi over 6.
But that's not right.
Why don't you Google it right quick, Tony? I mean, geez.
Sine of 30 is not pi over 6. Sine of 30 is 1 half, or 0.5.
Mm-hmm. It equals 1 over 2. It also equals pi over 6. Yes, I know. That's what I'm trying to give you the way to do it. You're going to do sine 30 degrees.
I suppose if you round it a bit, but it's definitely not precise.
Equals pi over 6. Pi over 6 is equal to 1 over 2. Since pi over 6 is equal to 1 over 2, that gives you the right.
I mean, it's definitely not accurate. If you round a bit, I mean, you could say, yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's not what he means. But either way it goes, if you have to say you're rounding. I know in my lab, if we have to have an error margin, we can't just call out numbers and say it's this with no respect for the error margin. So, I mean, he will need to at least say he's rounding pi over 6, and then it would be all right.
Ratio of what pi is.
Sine of 30 degrees is not equal to pi over 6.
And we're back. The team is looking down the barrel of a 450.
Looks like a good place to start for today. So what I'll do next week, I'll definitely still pick up this review from this point at 45 minutes.